Good evening. Welcome to the United States and Atlantic weather news. Today, we're tracking a very rare weather phenomenon that's about to form along the east coast of the United States, a powerful low-pressure system developing just offshore in the Atlantic, stretching from the state of Florida all the way up to New England. This system, while not expected to meet the criteria for a named tropical storm, will still carry many of the same characteristics, potentially hurricane-force winds, torrential rain, high surf, coastal flooding, and significant beach erosion. At the same time, while the East Coast braces for high winds and heavy rain, the nation's midsection will experience an intense heat wave, with temperatures soaring well above seasonal norms. Out west, the remnants of Tropical Storm Priscilla are drawing deep Pacific moisture into Arizona, New Mexico, and California, setting the stage for widespread, heavy rainfall across areas that are typically bone dry. In short, America is about to face three contrasting weather extremes all at once: a near-hurricane system along the East Coast, severe heat in the Midwest, and flooding rains across the Southwest. Current conditions. Right now, the weather map shows a strong clash between major atmospheric systems. A powerful low-pressure area has pushed northeast over New York, Pennsylvania, Vermont, and Maine, bringing scattered showers this morning but clearing skies by this afternoon as dry Canadian air filters southward. The Ohio Valley, which suffered flooding over the past 2 days, is beginning to dry out, while cooler air behind the front has dropped temperatures across the Midwest. Many places are seeing highs only between 54 and 61 degrees Fahrenheit, 12 to 16 degrees Celsius. However, this cooler spell won't last long. Within a few days, southerly winds will return, pushing much warmer air northward once again. Meanwhile, out in the eastern Pacific, Tropical Storm Priscilla is weakening near the Baja California Peninsula. Yet, its moisture-laden remnants are being pulled north and east by upper-level winds, spreading tropical humidity into California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. This will bring rare, soaking rains to these typically arid regions by the weekend, with a risk of flash floods and landslides in the canyons and desert valleys. Main story: a rare coastal low forming. The most striking feature on the map, however, is the unusual low-pressure system forming off the Atlantic coast. Forecast models agree that it will begin developing off eastern Florida by Friday or Saturday, then track northward parallel to the coast, moving past Georgia, the Carolinas, Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware, and possibly reaching New Jersey and Massachusetts early next week. Even though this won't be an official tropical storm, the blend of warm ocean moisture and strong upper-level winds could produce hurricane-like conditions. Meteorologists are calling it an early-season nor'easter, a type of storm that typically appears in late fall, not early October, highlighting the unusual volatility of this year's atmosphere. Why is this happening? Three key ingredients are combining to create this system. A strong high-pressure ridge over the Great Plains is pushing winds eastward, tightening the pressure gradient along the coast. A tropical moisture trough stretching from Florida to Georgia is feeding warm, humid air into the region. A powerful jet stream kink aloft is enhancing upward motion and spin. Together, these factors are turning the warm offshore waters into the perfect breeding ground for a fast-developing coastal low. Within 48 to 72 hours, the system is expected to intensify, potentially impacting millions along the shoreline. Two possible scenarios. Meteorologists are currently tracking two main scenarios for this storm's path. Scenario 1. The center tracks very close to shore, possibly making landfall in North Carolina or Virginia, then sliding northward. This would bring the heaviest rain and strongest winds inland, but lessen coastal flooding risks. Scenario 2. More likely, the low remains offshore, traveling northward parallel to the coast from Florida to New England. This would lead to prolonged high winds, massive surf, and serious beach erosion, especially at Outer Banks, Cape Lookout, and Cape Cod. Experts warn that even without a name or official classification, this storm could deliver impacts just as severe as a true tropical cyclone. Expected impacts. Winds. Florida and Georgia, 35 to 50 miles per hour gusts. Possibly up to 60 miles per hour offshore. Carolinas, 60 to 70 miles per hour gusts, especially near Charleston, Wilmington, and Cape Hatteras. Virginia, Delaware, 40 to 55 miles per hour gusts with isolated power outages. New Jersey, Massachusetts, 50 to 60 miles per hour gusts possible early next week. Residents should secure loose outdoor objects, boats, and signage, and avoid piers or coastal roads during peak winds and high tides. Rainfall. Florida, Georgia, 1 to 3 inches, 25 to 75 millimeters. Locally up to 6 inches. Carolinas, 3 to 6 inches, 75 to 150 millimeters. Isolated totals up to 8 inches, 200 millimeters. Virginia, Delaware, 2 to 4 inches, 50 to 100 millimeters. New Jersey, Massachusetts, 1 to 3 inches, 25 to 75 millimeters. Heavy rain, high tides, and poor drainage could cause urban flooding in cities like Norfolk, Charleston, Wilmington, and Atlantic City. Offshore waves could reach 10 to 16 feet, 3 to 5 meters, leading to dangerous surf and severe beach erosion. Across the rest of the nation. While the East Coast braces for stormy weather, the nation's heartland is turning up the heat. By Friday, hot, humid air from Texas will surge north, pushing highs into the mid-90s degree F, 33 to 36 degrees Celsius, across Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. Cities like St. Louis, Des Moines, and Chicago could set new October heat records, with feels like temperatures exceeding 105 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius. The sharp contrast between this inland heat and the cool Atlantic air will further tighten the pressure gradient, indirectly fueling the coastal storm's intensity. Out west, the remnants of Priscilla continue to move inland. From Sunday through Tuesday, the desert southwest, including Tucson, Albuquerque, and Palm Springs, may receive 4 to 8 inches, 100 to 200 millimeters, of rain, with mountain areas seeing up to 12 inches, 300 millimeters. This much rain in such a short time could trigger flash floods and landslides, especially in canyon regions. Officials urge everyone to follow the "turn around, don't drown" rule. Never drive through floodwaters, even if they look shallow. The week ahead. Here's what to expect over the next 7 days. Days 1 to 2, dry, cool weather across the Northeast, scattered showers in Florida, mild Midwest. Days 3 to 4, the coastal low develops off Florida, strengthening near the Carolinas with heavy rain and strong winds. Days 5 to 6, the system tracks northward, impacting Virginia to New England before weakening by Saturday. Meanwhile, the Midwest remains hot, and the Southwest continues to see widespread heavy rain from Priscilla's moisture. It's shaping up to be a volatile, high-impact weather week across the U.S., with hazards ranging from wind and flooding to extreme heat. Safety and preparedness. If you live along the East Coast, from Florida to Massachusetts, now is the time to prepare. Secure roofs, windows, and outdoor structures. Double-check boat moorings and avoid piers during rough surf. Stay alert for local flood advisories and high tide warnings. For residents inland or out west, stay cautious around mountain slopes and dry washes during thunderstorms, and keep emergency kits ready with flashlights, water, and batteries in case of power loss. Tropical update. Elsewhere in the Atlantic, Tropical Storm Jerry has just formed east of the Lesser Antilles, expected to strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane in the coming days but remain out to sea. A smaller low-pressure area in the Gulf of Mexico is producing rain near Mexico's coast, but development chances remain low. That means the main threat this week remains the unnamed coastal low, a storm without a name, but not without power. Climate context. Experts say the early appearance of this nor'easter-type system is a sign of changing climate dynamics. Warmer Atlantic sea surface temperatures, weaker upper-level shear, and a less stable jet stream are all allowing hybrid storms to develop faster and stronger than in previous decades. This may signal more off-season coastal storms in the years ahead, systems that defy traditional tropical classifications but still pack hurricane-level impacts. Final word. In summary, the coming week will test America's resilience against multiple extremes. A dangerous unnamed coastal storm along the east, record-breaking heat across the nation's heartland, and heavy, flood-inducing rains in the southwest. Each region faces its own hazards, but the common thread is preparedness. If you live anywhere along the East Coast, from Florida through Massachusetts, stay tuned for updates and advisories over the coming days. And for those out west, please heed all flood warnings and evacuation alerts as the Pacific moisture moves in. On behalf of our entire team, thank you for joining us for this edition of the U.S. and Atlantic Weather Report.